Hardin County Live Report is sitting down this morning with Miss Janis Holt, for State Representative of HD 18. Good morning, Miss Holt. It's good to have you. So since the year 2020, there's been roughly 1.6 million migrant encounters at the southern border walls. Do you feel like the U.S. government is handling that situation well, and where do you stand?
The border wall is the border situation completely is a huge problem. The federal government's job is to protect its citizens, and they have failed miserably. The Biden administration has done away with all of the stopgaps that were put in place in order to protect our border. Recently, however, though, he has admitted that it was a good idea to have the Remain in Mexico policy, so he has reinstated that. But it is up to us to protect our citizens in Texas. So I am fully in favor of funding the border wall completely and adding more security down there, that whatever we might need in order to protect our citizens here in the state of Texas.
In light of all the issues with our last election, with allegations of fraud, what can we do to build the integrity of the elections?
Our elections have to be easy to vote and hard to cheat. And in order to do that, we must pass policies that would allow for complete accountability at the voting booth. And so one of the things that we have done, so already the legislature has passed that election integrity bill that improved the security there, but we need to enforce it and have a little bite to it in order for that to be a felony if they do break the election laws. So that's what we're going to be pushing for in our next session.
Perfect. So this next topic is kind of touchy. We're going to be talking about pro-life and pro-choice. Tell us your values and where you come from on this, and how you're going to try to abolish this pro-choice situation here in Texas, especially.
You know, this has gone on for years, all my life. There has been this the movement between pro-choice and pro-life. I am a 100% unashamed Christian, and so therefore my values are driven by Scripture. And the Bible clearly states that every human life is valuable in God's eyes. And so I will always support legislation that protects children. They have no way to be able to protect themselves, so we must protect them. And so I will vote for every pro-life bill that comes through, because we must protect our children.
I agree 100%. So in our next topic, let's cover some supporting our local law enforcement and how we can do that with everything going on as far as people trying to defund the local police departments and counties.
Sure. You know, I'm the mom of a cop. Our son works in the police department, and thankfully that crazy lunacy has not hit House District 18, but it could. And so we must pass legislation that will strengthen our police departments, and that we will never defund our police. We must have them in order to be able to provide security for our citizens that are in House District 18 across the state of Texas and across America. I think they are seeing now how what a bad policy that was, and many of these states, I shouldn't even say many, some of these states have, in cities, these Democrat-led cities have actually reversed that decision, because the lawlessness has increased, the murders are increasing, just the general mayhem has increased, and we must always fund our police.
I agree. Now, personally, I love history, and I always have been a big fan of history. So, can you tell us more about this critical race theory that's being taught or trying to be taught in our schools?
Sure. Critical race theory is kind of a catchphrase that has come up into our vernacular here lately, but basically it just means that the students are being taught separation based on the color of their skin, and that their worth is based on the color of their skin, and everything should go under that lens, and that is not true. We must protect our education and continue to emphasize civics in our schools and American exceptionalism. Do we have flaws in our history? Absolutely. But we can't measure everything by those flaws. We have to always continue to look at those flaws and strive to be better, and strive to keep moving forward instead of moving back to before the civil rights movement. And I feel that's where we are trying to be pushed, and we can't do that. So we must always fight. And we can't say that critical race theory does not exist in Texas, because it does. And so we have to make sure that we address it.
Absolutely. So, can you tell the people of Southeast Texas why they should vote Janis Holt for their next state representative of Texas?
Well, I think that I am the best candidate in this race because the values that we have here in House District 18 are the values that I have: faith, family, and freedom. We must secure each of those throughout our district. And I believe that I am the best choice to do that because I have been doing that all my life. I have been a Republican all my life. I voted for Ronald Reagan as the first president that I was able to vote for back in 1980, and I haven't looked back. They encompass the values. And so if you want a strong conservative in House District 18, one that has common sense values and conservative values, then vote for Janis Holt for House District 18. You can go to holtfortexas.com, sign up. You can also follow us on Facebook, again, at Holt for Texas. And I look forward to seeing everyone over the next couple of months. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak with you today. I want to tell you a little bit about House District 18. We are a relatively new district in its composition. House District 19, where we currently sit, was made up of Jasper, Newton, Hardin, Tyler, and Polk counties. And we were we still are represented by James White until the end of 2022. But with redistricting, we are changed a little bit. The other counties went to different districts, but Hardin County was added into House District 18. So now we are with Liberty County and San Jacinto County, and also a small portion of Montgomery County. And so this district is now a strong Republican district, but it also is a strong district that believes in faith and family and our freedoms. And so I'm very excited to be able to represent that new district.
And in closing, can you remind our viewers once again why the counties were split in the first place?
Okay, so a fun fact that a lot of people don't realize is that we must keep 150 districts. That's the set number. And we have 31 Senate districts in the state of Texas. That's in our Constitution. And the reason for that is because our forefathers based it off of the Bible. There are 150 House districts because there are 150 Psalms. There are 31 Senate districts because there are 31 Proverbs. And so that was set up way back in the beginning of our state in our Constitution. So therefore, when the population increases, they have to adjust that number based on 150 districts. And so that current number is about 195,000 people per district. And so redistricting committees in the Senate and in the House, they manipulate those numbers in order to get as close. You can be plus or minus 5%. And so they get those numbers as close to that target number as possible. So that's why it was able to be shifted around like